How's it going, everyone? I hope you're all having a fantastic day. We finally made it, and what I mean by this is we got some Spyro 2 gameplay. PlayStation Underground posted 12 minutes of Idle Springs footage. 12 minutes, that's absolutely great. Now in this gameplay, there's some commentary in the back. So when it comes to comparing, analyzing the music, the sounds, it's not gonna be perfect, alright? I just wanted to point it out. Here we look at Idle Springs. I just said it. Okay, I know. This is the level from the first homeworld, Summer Forest. Already we can tell it looks much brighter than the original. From what I've been reading, people, they're not really a fan of it entirely, but this to me looks like still work in progress. Am I sounding nitpicky right now? It's just that I know a lot of people will have concerns and Toys for Bob will listen and make some changes here and there. Now the sculptors have been given an actual smile, as if nothing ever happened. The idols are causing havoc and they're just there standing, smiling. But no, they look great. Looking at this one, he's no longer holding a map, a blueprint from the original, and they're holding onto their vest in the new one. The pressed triangle is absent, but we do see the triangle icon, which is no problem, it looks fine. And yes, the clothes have changed. Now the gem placements are the same. Looking at the beginning, the 4 red gems, and then we got 2 purple ones. They created this thing called Spyroscope. They had no access to the original data. Insomniac Games lost a bunch of data. They had to construct their own geometry, their own meshes, to try and match everything from jumping, swimming, to gem locations and everything. Barrels, pots, and all that. And to me they look like they're in the same exact position. That's what they mean by Spyroscope. And there's the strong chest right there. The color is pretty similar to the original, I like it. Now the idle animation, remember in the toasty footage or the other footage from the first game, we were wondering, hey, where is Spyro's cat-like animation? Well, here it is. It is absolutely adorable, and they added something extra. Stretching! I mean, that looks adorable. Come on, I'm not the only one, right? Now the fat idol, right there, has more detail given to it. We're used to it by now, they're adding a bunch of details everywhere. They sculpted a tree, and yet there's some accessories on them, which I find funny. Now the text font. I'm gonna nitpick, I don't know. I'm not a fan of the font they used. It looks too out of place. I really like the one from the original, like the fade-in black box in the back. Not completely solid color. There's something about this one, I think it's the white. It stands out too much, it just doesn't fit. But really, I'm not gonna worry about these small things. They're probably gonna change them. There's a lot of people actually talking about the same exact situation. There's a nice beard on the 4-man Bob, same yellow hat. Now, comparing this scene when Spyro's talking to Bob, it looks more zoomed in. When we beat the idol, one of the NPCs break the lock for you, that we know. You really hear that clanging noise better, like 2 times, and then for the 3rd one we have like this glass shattering effect. And they removed the chisel from the original.
Dragons and rescuing dragons. Spyro 2 introduced this whole other world of NPCs, and mini games and challenges too.
As for the enemy orb, those shiny orbs, it's the same exact, similar animation. The smallest difference I'd say is it has a bigger radius when spinning. That's pretty much it. And they do have the same font color as the gems. Oh, another thing, when the fat idol, when we kill him, his marshmallow flies away. He loses it. The same applies for the other enemies, which you'll see afterwards. Swimming, this is something we all wanted to see, correct? There's our different shaped gems, by the way, just like the original. I know a lot of people were concerned about this. Now looking at the diving sequence, it's less, how can I say this, steep, less like vertical? Like he is diving, but in the original he would fall more flat vertical when diving. I don't know if that makes any sense. The swimming, guys, it looks good. There's that wiggly butt animation. So as you can see in this footage, they're swimming casually, while diving, to be technical. But there is charging underwater afterwards. The gem counter is now blue. We went from green, to purple, to blue. I wonder what their final decision will be, assuming they're going with a unified system. The counter, by the way, now moves by increments of 1. Before it would jump to the total immediately. I know a lot of you will be happy about this. The gem sounds, by the way, sound closer to the original from 2 and 3. More of that bling sharp noise, if you know what I'm talking about.
And so Spyro 2 also introduced swimming. So in Spyro 1, you could not swim.
The sun rays passing through the water, it looks marvelous. As for the water from the surface, it has this milky look. Now in the original, it was crystal clear, even from the top. Spark's air bubble, by the way, is much bigger than the original. The jars in the water slightly rotate, like that animation is still there. That's absolutely great. I'm loving the attention to detail. Now the addition of grass near the surface, that's pretty cool. The eyes on the fish are now white instead of black polka dots. They look like, is that a dragon underwater? Making your way up to the first out of 3 puzzles, well, not the first one of the 3 puzzles. The water is gloomy from the top. In the original, it was clear. As for Spyro walking normally, it is similar to the original. You notice that wiggle. The tiles, we went from plain gray to now addition of black. Looks fantastic. The chest has been changed, well, their toolbox to be technical. It looks more like a treasure chest this time. The voice of the foreman, by the way, it's great. It's not exactly the same as the original, but that similar tone of the voice, it's there. The voice acting for these characters, it's great.
I've been locked in here with all our tools, and the giant idleheads won't let the workers in unless we can solve the 3 puzzles they've given us. The first puzzle is to turn all these blocks yellow. If you have trouble, come back and talk to me.
Malfi.
We're locked in here with all our tools, and the giant idleheads won't let the workers in unless we can solve the 3 puzzles they've given us.
Okay, got it, bud.
The voices are so fun.
The voice is
Yeah,
so
I
good.
love Foreman Bud.
If you have trouble, come back and talk to me.
Okay, bud.
Yeah.
The straps we had in the original, you do notice them. They're hiding under their vest. The dialogue looks the same. They did say they want to keep the script 100% the same, but there are some slight changes. Remember, Boss from Toasty was replaced by the name Toasty. As for this one, the help dialogue slightly has been altered. The word extra has been added. And look at the second sentence. As for Zoe, she looks fantastic. The sound when jumping on platforms has been changed. We have the sparkle noise now instead of the, what could I call it, bingo sound? Casino? Let's call it that.
The most important thing for all your work is to make sure all the foremen have B names.
But truly though, like this project has been
Spyro's running animation at the bottom right. That silhouette, that blue silhouette. It's a cute new addition for checkpoints. Notice those extra fire lamps in the room. You gotta add that detail, right? It looks awesome. Swimming on the surface looks very similar to the old one, which I'm a huge fan of. The swimming overall, like I said, it just looks great. One detail when looking at these dialogue boxes, a continue prompt. This is running on the PS4 Pro, by the way. This was shown in the beginning, in small text. Also, Spyro's name is not shown in the dialogue. Well, the help box. I don't know if you've noticed. Instead of just one green palette for grass, we have patches on the ground. Looking at the second puzzle, we have particles in the air now. Kinda make it look like a swamp area. I think that's what they were aiming for. The fish icon, we got 2 fishes now. They don't move, however. See the thing with the Reignited Trilogy? Everything that moved, that spun and all the numbers, everything is just static. It's what I've noticed. The idol is moving slightly. The original was static. No more gulp noise when feeding him fish. We only hear its mouth close, and the uvula is still there if you pay close attention.
To make sure
I love that
they're
it
all
reminds
cooked
you
properly.
that the idol is very picky.
Yes,
I love the
very
idol.
picky.
Yeah, and that's another thing is just the amount of variety in these games.
Looking at the back, the high mountains, well, they're high mountains, instead of just the skybox. The walls in the original were much shorter. The walls just in this level, everywhere, they look taller. It's as if you're in a sandbox. Do I like it? Yeah, I don't mind it. Okay, one thing. In this version, the camera is not pointed straight forward, facing the idol. It's sideways. Looking at how they're playing it, you can move the camera up and down. Now, I don't think you can point the camera downwards and see the fish and make the challenge, well, the puzzle easier. But I'm wondering, can we rotate the camera to face the idol? Seeing as how it automatically went sideways, I'm gonna say no, I could be mistaken. Now, we don't notice a lot of red fish in this one. In the original, the longer you remained in this challenge, the more red fish would appear, if I'm not mistaken, right? The sculptor is just hitting itself on the head, this time with a hammer. In the original one, they were just like bashing the side of their heads. Look, any blank walls in the original, they all have added textures and detail. Okay, sure, in Idle Springs, the walls look taller. Instead of short walls with a bunch of vines, it's more of rocks. We're looking at rocks. As for the short idols, they have tomatoes, onions, and meat or mushroom? Now I'm hungry. Yes, I like pointing out these small details. I mean, I just love paying close attention to these tiny stuff. Oh, by the way, they now hold what looks to be pot lids. Clever. Holding shish kebab and pot lids, cooking food, get it? Works? Okay, let's move on. When charging into them, both their pan, well, their shield, whatever you want to call it, and their shish kebab, they fly away. When charging into these short idols, the bounce back animation is still there. That's cool. Now, these idols in general, in the original, looked pretty similar when it came to like size. But in this one, they really look distinct from one another. Again, you can easily tell how much lighter the level looks, especially near the waterfall. No more black shadow. Now that look of despair on the sculptor, I'm loving these neat little attention to detail. The skinny idols fall flat on their faces now. I'm guessing they wanted to change it up. Not only the way they look, but their animations as well. Zoe's voice sounds very, very similar to the old one. I love it.
Those metal shields are making enemies invulnerable to your flame attack. If you press and hold the square button, you can defeat them with your charge attack.
Please let us know.
Oh, yeah, please.
Oh my God.
We lost it.
That's actually exactly what we did.
But Josh, to the point though, is that this is very much, as we were talking about before, a craft for your studio. I mean,
one thing you guys pointed out in the past, Sparks, it doesn't look like he's picking up gems, while in this one, Spyro 2, it looks like they made it more noticeable. We can really tell Sparks is picking up the gems. Probably something they improved on. And one thing I just noticed, it's probably due to the lighting, I don't know, I just noticed the blue tips on the feet of Sparks. We did see this in Toasty, but I guess I just didn't notice it, for some reason. I love the glowy mushrooms they added under the tree trunks, adds a lot more life. As for the dialogue, to aim the camera left or right, use the directional button. Obvious, right? They changed the controls, but you do have the option to switch from the right analog stick to shoulder buttons. Now, if you switch to shoulder buttons, obviously it's not going to be shown in the dialogue. They're just going to show the default one. Approaching this puzzle, the platforms are already pressed. They rise up when actually entering the challenge. I notice you still transport like the original. I mean, is it obvious they would have left this like that? I guess. You won't have to backtrack. Okay, the orb. A lot of people are concerned about it. Me, I absolutely love the sparkly effect. But I too agree. Where is the bounce? Looking at this, it looks like the same animation as the talisman, so for now, guys, take this as placeholder. That's just my theory. And looking at the differences between the original and the new one, they have this clear appearance to it. Some people prefer like the solid color. I like it, it looks fine. I like the star they added on the sides. Cool, neat detail. The platforms are not green completely, by the way. That shock between them, it's still there. I don't know if you've seen that before. I know, I do point out the obvious things, right, when it comes to these types of videos. You're probably used to it by now. Well, for subscribers maybe, but if you're new, yes, I do point out obvious things. Okay, the charging underwater. To me, it looks fine, but some people have been saying, he looks stiff. And notice we don't have any bubbles. Instead of bubbles, we only have this, well, these lines which show the motion of Spyro underwater. The flying animation. I'm not sure if I can see a difference right now, but to me it looks the same. Maybe you noticed a slight difference, maybe the way his wings flap, but to me, I'm having a hard time seeing the difference. The charge icon is different. Looking at the supercharge pillar, let's call it, I'm not sure if I'm gonna miss those particle effects. They're probably gonna add those. They're small things, right? When charging, notice how the lightning bolt lights up. like a zap, but it doesn't exactly zap you. In the original, it was Zap Spyro. Instead of this smoky effect when charging, we have this orange smoke. The pedestals have this derp face lit up, as opposed to like more grumpy faces from the original. The HUD we only have their face, not their whole moving body. Oh, and there's one thing missing here. The rain cloud is not there when destroying the idol. I'm guessing either they removed it and are planning to bring it back due to fan feedback, or they removed it due to timing. And looking at this scene, it's a lot more zoomed in. In general, in Spyro 2 so far, Spyro's closer to the NPCs. Now the main difference in these girls is the hair length. Apart from, you know, the changes in the faces and all. And the outfits, well, the outfits look the same, just more detail. Also, the last girl we see her actually appear during this sequence. In the original, they were all already gathered up around the Tiki idol. The pedestals, if you pay close attention, they do fall back to the ground like the original. As for the voice of Hula Girl, in the original she sounded much older, in this one she sounds younger. Is it just me?
Look at that. The Hula Girl's rain dance blew up that idol like a Roman candle. Now I can pursue that dancing career I've dreamed of. Take this orb. It could help you go places.
People love these games, so we wanted to find ways to modernize and improve things where we could. For example, we now have camera control on the right stick, and we made some choices to honor the originals. But
oh, you do hear a bit of the music when there's the sequence with the missing dance cloud, but as for the overall music in this level, due to the commentary in the back, we can't hear it that well.
From a gameplay perspective, we wanted to keep it the same because the game's already fun.
And other than that, I guess I've gone over the most noticeable changes. If not, if I missed anything, as usual, point it out in the comments and let's discuss. So what's next? I'm expecting maybe more footage by Comic-Con? I don't know, they posted like a 12 minutes gameplay which was completely unexpected. So are they gonna show more gameplay at Comic-Con? Who knows. But yeah, I am expecting an extra level down the line before the release. So yep, as usual, I've been Vivi, and I guess this is it. Until next time, thank you for watching.